Hi, Travis Blue here with Toby, and I'm here to make one of my most requested recipes, chicken enchiladas with green chili tomatillo sauce. I'm going to show you all the steps I take to add depth of flavor to this dish. I season and roast a whole chicken. I make green chili tomatillo sauce out of fresh tomatillos and roasted Hatch Green Chiles. I make a savory filling by cooking down fresh mushrooms, and then I layer it all into aluminum pans with corn tortillas and cheese. I make it casserole style, and I make a double recipe because we're busy and that's what our life needs. By the way, any shortcuts you want to use are totally okay, whether it's canned chilies or sauce or even a store-bought rotisserie chicken. Whatever makes your life easier is great. Just use this recipe as a guide. Now before we get started, please consider supporting this channel by hitting that subscribe button right down there. I'm a home cook and a filmmaker, and I make these videos so I can share my tips and experiences with you. So that being said, let's get to the recipe. For the chicken, preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I like to use a whole chicken, about 5 or 6 pounds. They often go and say in my local grocery store so that it's affordable, and I feel like you get so much flavor from roasting a whole chicken. Then I make a simple spice rub of cumin, chili powder, salt and pepper, a lime, and garlic cloves for the cavity. I take the spice mixture and I rub it all over the chicken, top and bottom. And I put some of the spice mixture in the cavity along with the lime and the garlic. You can use a lemon too if you want to. Once that's all done, I put it directly onto my quarter sheet pan and put it in the oven for 1 hour. For the green chili tomatillo sauce, first you have to prep the tomatillos. Now remember, tomatillos are not green tomatoes. They're not related at all, so you can't use that as a substitution and expect to get the same tangy flavor. Sorry. Tomatillos do have papery skin on the outside you have to peel off, and they're going to be a little bit sticky. So you're going to peel them off first, and then you're going to want to rinse them. So you have a good rinse under the sink. And then I quarter them and cut the cores out. If they're a little bigger, I'll cut them down even more. And this recipe ends up being about 2–2.5 pounds of tomatillos. If you want to do it this day before, you can put them in a container and put them in the fridge. All right, we're ready to make the sauce. You need the 4-quart saucepan. Then I put in those tomatillos, about 2–2.5 pounds chopped down, 2 cups of chicken stock, pour that right in, 1 onion chopped, about 5 cloves of garlic, a few sprigs of cilantro, and I get my roasted Hatch Green Chiles, which I've prepped and chopped down, and you can check out that video right up there. It ends up being probably 8 ounces or so. Actually, sometimes I'll put in 12. But if you're doing cans, I would do at least a 7-ounce can, more like 2 to the 4-ounce cans. You could even do 3. And then if you want some heat, I would add some jalapeno or serrano pepper just to bring the heat level up, because you're not really going to get it from canned green chilies. Give it a stir, a little bit of salt. All right, bring it to a boil, let it cook for about an hour, stir it occasionally. Then it will look like this. Give it another stir, and it's time to blend it. All right, that sauce is cooked down, it's done. If you want to scoop it into a food processor or a blender, be my guest. I just use an immersion hand blender, and it works great. It actually keeps the sauce a little bit chunky, which I like. But it smooths it out pretty well. All right, just give it a good blend down with a hand blender. Of course, nice and smooth. There'll be some chunks in it, but the tomatillos, they'll break down pretty easily. When you're done with that, take it off the heat, set it aside until it's time to put the enchiladas together. Okay. Got the tang from the tomatillos. Ooh, there's that heat from the green chili. It's gonna go perfect onto those top of those enchiladas. You know, it's gonna mix with the cheese and the chicken and the tortillas. It's gonna be great. So this recipe was actually my mom's. It was an 80s casserole recipe made with canned green chilies, which you can totally use, by the way, no judgments. Cut up chicken, and then cream of mushroom soup, because, you know, all the 80s casseroles had cream of something soup in them. And my wife does not eat cream of mushroom soup. She had way too much one Thanksgiving, was like, never again. Never again. So I had to find another way. And I experimented with mushrooms and the chicken, and this is what I came up with. Trust me, it's good. Stick with it. Okay, chicken is roasted, it is done. I like to let it rest for at least 10 minutes, but if you cook it earlier, I've let it rest for about an hour, and that makes it easier to handle because it's not as hot. Pro tip there. And anyway, what you do is you just break it down and get all that meat off. You know, the legs, the thighs, the breast meat. Just beat off in big chunks. Smaller chunks you can rip off with your hands. You can chop it. Like this day I chopped it. Sometimes I use my hands, I use gloves because it's just easier cleanup, not because it's gonna like burn you or anything like your eyes, but it's easy cleanup just to get the gloves and, you know. But once it's broken down, I put it in a metal bowl to set aside, and then it's ready to layer into the enchiladas. Okay, for cooking down the mushrooms, melt some butter and some already hot canola oil and put the mushrooms right in. Saute all that down. Once they release in the liquid, I get some cumin, chili powder, and salt, and I put that in there just to give a little extra flavor. So you need some flour, about a tablespoon. I mean, I'm just using one of these, but it's about a tablespoon. If I was going to thicken it with the mushrooms, kind of make a nice sauce in the middle of the enchiladas. All right, and once the flour has cooked down and it's thickened, I take some of the juice from the chicken that I just roasted, and I put a little bit of that into the mushroom mixture, just to add an extra little kick of flavor. Okay, we are ready to put it together. Start with a little sauce, a little cheese on the bottom, and then we're going to line it with these, just a 30 count yellow corn tortillas, soft ones. We'll put some on the bottom and some on the top, and then all the juice of the chicken and the sauce and the mushrooms, it's all going to kind of soften all the tortillas and cook together and make it this really great texture, I think, because it's soft, almost like tamales. Okay, spray your aluminum pan with cooking spray and put a thin layer of sauce and cheese on the bottom. I use the big bag of shredded Mexican cheese blend. It says 8 cups. That's the equivalent of 4 of the smaller bags. Take about half of your tortillas, lay your tortilla so it's covered. And then put the chicken on. Then the mushroom mixture. And that would be exact, but if you do it this way, one and then the other, you'll get close. Cover the chicken with the rest of the tortillas. And I put all the rest of the sauce on there. It seems like it's going to be too much, but it's not. And then I put as much cheese as I can over the top where you can't even see the sauce anymore. And for storage and cooking, put a layer of parchment on top first. And then foil on top of the parchment. That keeps it from sticking to the foil. I learned that from Martha Stewart. I put the spare one in the fridge to set, and then move it to the freezer. To thaw, do the opposite. Move it from the freezer to the fridge, and keep it in the fridge overnight. And bake it the next day. Bake the enchiladas in a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. Then remove the cover, make sure the cheese is melted. Turn up the heat to 400 or just turn on a broiler and bake for another 5-10 minutes to get a nice crispy finish on the cheese. Just keep an eye on it so it doesn't burn. Let it rest for 10 minutes on the counter. Have a drink. I usually do. I serve it in squares and scoop it out the best I can. It's going to be messy when it's hot, but who cares? Chop some cilantro, then serve with the cilantro and sour cream. There'll be plenty left, and it makes great leftovers. Okay, here we go. Chicken enchilada casserole. Sour cream, cilantro, mushroom, chicken, cheese, everything. And the mushrooms add just a little bit of earthy flavor. The chicken, is tender. There's a little bit of sweetness actually that comes out of this. It comes out of the sauce, and at the end, the heat from the peppers. That's why I have sour cream, because it helps these mellow it out a little bit, but also helps my wife eat it because she really doesn't eat spicy food.
This is true.
So, there we go. Chicken enchilada casserole. Happy eating, everybody. If you like this video, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.